Hey, what's going on, sports fans and internet people? Yeah, the old frazzled one again. Weaver Jones, say how you doing? Am I ready to depress the living crap out of you? Are you ready to scream and yell your head off and run away like everybody else does? You're probably wondering if I'm going to be flipping to the side of the maniac that's playing over here and going crazy, or you're probably waiting for the proverbial depressing thing to hear about. I know. Over the past videos I've been trying to do, I'm trying to educate one way or another. Trying to explain what people go through. And a lot of people don't even like it or don't even like to hear about it. And it's not a duty I take. It's trying to communicate to people, trying to reach out. Trying to let other people know, and besides let them know, let myself know that to go through this is not the easiest damn thing in the world. Yeah, you're going to scream and yell, oh my God, he's going depressing again. Run! Well, you go ahead and run. I've heard other depressive things happening these days in the news, and I'm not even wanting to touch it. I have tried to stay away from politics as much as possible, not trying to endorse any candidates, even though I am a Democrat. And people would assume I know what the hell I'm going to be supporting at this point over here. Maybe, maybe not. But I have to make some observations like everybody else does, and you're probably going to say I'm not a Trumper. Well, I'm not. I'm not a Trumper. Never have been. Never claimed to be. And I'm trying to figure out, and I'm trying to understand, even through my own mental health issues at this point over here, why people get attracted to those kind of people who make promises and don't follow through on them, but they claim that he's the second coming, one way or another. And people treat him as such. And yes, this is concerning about the current office holder that calls himself the President of the United States. Even though we did have an election back in 2016 through the Electoral College, and not with the popular vote itself. There had been calls for a long time of getting rid of the Electoral College and just dealing with the popular vote, and that should be the most important thing to do. We are a large population. Why not use the popular vote and get rid of the damn Electoral College? And the thing of it is, Electoral College was based when the 13 colonies were originally done. Yeah, here we go, Israelism again. As far as I can understand and remember history at this point over here, being a collegiate student ever at college, I've taken a few history classes here and there in political science. Doesn't make me an expert, it just makes me a student of its things. Even though I'm 54 years old learning about this kind of stuff. And not quite sure why we still have the Electoral College right now in the first place. They were basing it on population in each state. Each state is its own, well, they have smaller populations, they have larger populations. Even though they may have a larger mass land-wise, it doesn't mean they have the greatest concentration of people. There'll be very small concentrations in the larger states. They're dealing with large tracts of land for agricultural purposes. Yet in the smaller states we had up in the northern area, in the New England area, larger populations stayed around seaports and busy port cities. So the populations were mixed all throughout the 13 colonies, and they were basing it on population density, not on geographical borders. And also because of the greatest population would have the greatest number of electoral votes. A small state, tiny state, tiny state, could have the greatest population, and they would have the greater electoral votes to get an officer in an office. The largest huge tract land, like Pennsylvania, very tiny population and very, very tinier on the electoral votes that they need. It didn't matter about the damn income or not. They're basing it on the population densities at this point over here. So there are different states right now who are larger and also have greater people that would also affect the Electoral College votes as well. Of how many voters that they would have assigned per state. Don't ask me what the numbers are. I don't know. They probably fluctuate left and right. I am not that perfect at a memory. But if they happen to do it on population itself, and not just getting representative of electorals who are not even exactly loyal, by the way. That's the thing about Electoral College at this point over here. The representatives that we are putting in to the college in order to vote theoretically our own way, flip. You're voting for Democrat, they'll flip over here and vote for Republican. The same thing goes for Republican, or they could be doing for Independent at this point over here. Depending on how they individually feel for those electoral representations that we're all voting for in order to vote for our candidate. Now, if it was population vote, one person, one vote. Imagine how different the elections would be these days. But no, you got Electoral College every time we're doing Senate, we're doing representation, and we're doing the president. But yet again, for individual states, a lot different. They have their own different criteria. Could be based off population. But they're also worrying about what we call voting districts, or people screwing up the voting districts left and right, called gerrymandering. Trying to re-engineer a state to where one side is going to get the greater advantage just by redistricting, redrawing the voting lines, and how to get your better electors and everything else. So, whoever said the democratic process for voting was perfect should have been reading Aristotle concerning about democracy, because he would have explained it a hell of a lot better. And that's the thing you study about in political science and history classes, Aristotle. This guy was back in Greek time, teaching us about democracy. And the most convoluted, influential, and influenced, actually, of voting systems is the democratic process. It's easy enough to corrupt people. I think I said this one before. And in trying to educate people about the process, one way or another, goes in one ear out the other ear. It does. They don't want to hear long-ass lectures. They want to hear and see that their own way is right. A rally happens in Washington, D.C. 2 rallies, actually. A group of people who are masked and unmasked, who are seeing a president distancing himself and yet spreading out his germs. I know what the doctors had said, but they were holding back a hell of a lot more information. Test this with your own doctor. How much information is he actually giving you regarding your health? And is there something more could be done for it? Or did he discover something that's going to be totally doing something to you that you don't even realize? The Hippocratic Oath is do no harm. And the thing of it is, what I'm seeing is the harm being done all over the place. I'm seeing it on social media, I'm seeing it in regular media, I'm seeing it everywhere else that we're having it. I see people trying to bully and badger their way, saying that their president is going to be it, their official is going to be the one. And they're having fist fights. They'll have a peaceful march one way or another. They'll have counter-protesters coming in. And here comes the fist. We don't have debates anymore. We have slugfests. We have arrests going on. We can't have anything civilized anymore. You know, one thing I can't understand is Well, if we're going to be using a Trump situation here, which I don't even understand, is how one guy managed to con a percentage in order to say that he is going to help solve everything by himself. That doesn't do anything except executive orders of removing every other president's, including the last term's president. Executive orders are trying to make the country a little bit better, at least environmentally wise or otherwise, and taking away protections concerning about health care. I mean, I hear promises, I don't see actions. And in order to get the action, people keep forgetting important steps about our Constitution. They keep forgetting to read about the Constitution and understanding the damn process. You see, there are laws proposed, both in Senate and in House. Both in Senate and House of our U.S. Congress. Both can create laws, but they both have to agree, and they have to go compromises to see which side has got the better one. One side will have a similar bill to the other guy. House, we'll send it over to the Senate. Senate will rework it, send it back over to the House. The House will have to draft it, revise it. Everybody votes on it. 2/3 votes later, they get a bill and they get a draft. They send it over to the president, whoever's sitting in the office, and he signs it into law. He doesn't create law. He doesn't have the power to create law. The scary thing about it is the Supreme Court can also do it as well. Judicial review. Look that one up in the dictionary. Look that one up on Google. When you take history classes, when you understand and take political science as context to go along with the history, when you actually take the time to learn, or actually go to a library to read this stuff, yeah, use actual paper, or even going online these days because of the COVID-19. But actually study how the process works. Hell, even Wikipedia will have something like that. But once you understand the damn process, how it works, why are you arguing about it? This is our Constitution that was voted in over 230 plus years ago. This is how our country was running all this time, with all the conflicts we've been having these days. This is our government. This is a government process. It is not about one person in office. It is about the process. It is about the principles. It is about what makes us American. Excuse me. Lunch hiccup. It's about what we have to do. I don't hold anything back when it comes down for opinions at this point over here, because I know a lot of people have got their opinions. And it's so damn easy to go thermonuclear on them, because I've seen it happen too many damn times. I've seen it happen on videos on YouTube. I keep running across this one gentleman who's a journalist, but he's got a slant. You folks are going crazy regarding news media. I'm going to tell you something, and I already said it before in different videos at this point of year, if you ever caught it, is media is slanted when it comes down for politics. When it comes down for actual news, they will report the news as is. But the reactions, the opinions of political editors are a different story altogether. And that's what makes them more of a credibility issue to a lot of people, because they think it's slanted, it's fake news. When it comes down for politics, it's all a slant. Think about it. Think about it. Then make your comments. Subscribe if you like. Don't subscribe. I prefer you subscribing anyway. Say yes, say no. make a comment saying you're out of your frickin' mind. I am out of my frickin' mind. But the thing is, you guys have a shorter attention span, so I'm not going to make this into a damn 30-minute speech. If I was, I'd be running for Congress, or I'd be running for the President of the United States, or at least worse, your local school board. Think about that one as a horrible thought.